U issa wasal il-ħin Peter li ninaqdu ma' l-Belt Valletta għaliex. Wara 3 snin ta' ħidma fil-fatt illum tingħata deċiżjoni dwar il-kandidatura tal-Belt Valletta bħala l-Belt Kulturali Ewropea għall-2018. Il-Kummissjoni Ewropea f'dawn il-ħinijiet tħabbar il-Belt Ewropea tal-Kultura għas-sena 2018. Il-Belt Kapitali Maltija Valletta hija waħda mill-kandidati bl-offerta finali ta' Malta bit-tema Immaġina 18 titressaq bħala l-promozzjoni ewlenija biex il-Belt tikseb dan it-titlu.
Ekku infatti ġurija internazzjonali kienet Malta f'dawn il-jiem biex tara bajnejha x'għandha x'toffri l-Belt Kapitali Maltija. Ninaqdu issa mal-Co-Cathedral ta' San Ġwan fil-Belt Valletta fejn f'xandira diretta se nkunu nafu liema belt hija r-rebbieħa tat-titlu Belt Ewropea tal-Kultura għas-sena 2018.
Ringrazzjakom tal-li joġobkom tiġu hawnhekk illum għall-press conference. Turija ta' rispett lejn in-nies minn barra li għandna magħna, jekk ma jimpurtax ħa nitkellem daqsxejn bil-lingwa Ingliża. Allow me to introduce to you Mr. Manfred Gaulhofer, who is the chairperson of the evaluation panel on Valletta's bid to be European Capital of Culture for 2018, and Mrs. Anne Branch, from representative of the EU Commission, DG Culture. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me and an immense pleasure, of course, to present to you the decision of the jury within the surroundings of some of the most prestigious paintings in history in some of the most beautiful places in the world. As you may know, the jury gathered in Valletta today in order to make a decision of whether or not to recommend to the Maltese government to nominate Valletta European Capital of Culture 2018. As you may also know and remember, the panel had gathered in Valletta for the first time 9 months ago and issued afterwards a report with recommendations to the V18 team of what to take into consideration when drafting and putting together the final report. Yesterday, a delegation of 4 members of the jury visited Valletta and the surroundings in order to get a more in-depth insight into core areas of the program and the involvement both of citizens, artists, and other important players. After a further presentation by the V18 team, together with the mayor of the city today in the morning, the jury gathered again and thoroughly discussed all the documents, impressions, and experiences. At the end of this discussion, the jury came to a unanimous decision. The selection panel has been persuaded by the team that there is the will, the drive, the ambition, and the growing and strongly needed increase in self-esteem of the V18 team to make Valletta 2018 European Capital of Europe an extraordinary endeavor that will be up to the expectations. Thus, the jury recommends the Maltese government to nominate Valletta European Capital of Culture 2018.
The applause wasn't for me, but ladies and gentlemen, Minister, I'm delighted to be here today to say a few words on behalf of the European Commission. This is because this title is a European Union title, and that's why it's a competition to be the European Capital of Culture and not a national capital of culture. The title is awarded to a city for a year-long cultural programme developed specifically for the year, which must have a strong European dimension, have a strong involvement of its citizens, and foster the long-term cultural and social development of the city. The title brings real prestige. It's been going for 27 years and many cities before have benefited tremendously from it. So it's a truly unique opportunity for a city to transform itself, to position itself internationally, and to improve the well-being of the people living there. And it's also intended to help Europeans understand each other better and to bring people closer together through the power of culture. Now, the opportunity is all the more unique for Malta because this will be the first time a Maltese city has hosted the event. And Valletta will be hosting the event along with a Dutch city, which has yet to be chosen. So on behalf of the European Commission, I'd like to congratulate Valletta for getting a positive recommendation from the panel. We wish you every success in the hard work ahead of you, because there are challenges in front of you, but they will be worth it. Please make sure that you make the most of this unique opportunity for yourself, your citizens, for Malta, and for the European Union. And the most successful cities are those that embed the event as part of a long-term strategy for the development of their city. Indeed, more generally at the European Union level, we recognise that cultural investment is all the more important at the current time because we know that the cultural and creative sectors contribute enormously to jobs and growth. They're sectors of the future, so they're all the more important to help us face the current economic and social challenges we're facing. After today, the panel will prepare a report which will be published, and this will include recommendations to Valletta for the things that it needs to work on during the next 5 years, because this is a tremendously ambitious event, and so of course there are things that still need to be worked on. And during this period, well, first of all, I should say that the decision to award Valletta the title goes through a formalisation process. The Ministry must forward the recommendation to the European Union institutions, and then it's the Council of European Culture Ministers which will validate this decision formally in principle in May next year. Now, there are 5 years ahead of Valletta, during which it will be working very hard, and there is a European advisory and monitoring panel which will follow its progress and make sure that it sticks to its commitments and follows the recommendations that have been made. And then, at the end of this process, the Commission, if the panel gives a positive recommendation, will award the so-called Melina Mercouri Prize, which is an amount of €1.5 million at the moment. Finally, I need to say some words of thanks. First of all, to Valletta for taking part. You found yourselves alone in the competition, but you took it very seriously, so congratulations. Secondly, to the selection panel, which is comprised of independent cultural experts. They're seated here today. And finally, I wish to thank the Minister and his colleagues in the Ministry of Culture for their excellent cooperation, for organising the competition in Malta, and also for providing us, as Manfred said, this wonderful setting. It's probably the most spectacular setting we ever had yet for a press conference. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Branch, I have no hesitation in saying that I will be accepting the nomination. And undoubtedly, I think, stealing from the words of J.F. Kennedy when he was in Berlin, we are all proud citizens of Valletta. So, it's obviously a proud moment for all of us, a proud moment for the Mayor of Valletta, Dr. Alexei Dingley, and all his fellow councillors and his team. A proud moment for David Felice and all the members of the foundation and his team who have worked tirelessly for this moment. The various people from the ministry have obviously cooperated and also been essential in ensuring this unified teamwork. To thank also all the rest of the local councils, because in truth, Valletta was not alone, but unified with all the help and assistance and full cooperation of each locality in Malta. And probably this must have been also a first in the candidature of any city for the bid of European Capital of Culture. But allow me also to thank you, Chairman, your members, yourself, and our illustrious members from the evaluation panel who helped us out in reaching this decisive moment. It's important for us, I think. It's an important moment for Valletta, which is indeed at a crossroads. It's an important moment, but not only for the city and for its people. It's an important moment for the artistic and cultural community in Malta. A cultural and artistic community which has grown, a cultural and artistic community which wants to look forward. And I must say I had a bit of hesitation when thinking as to whether I should actually have the press conference over here. Because behind me and in front of me I have two of the most marvelous paintings of Caravaggio, painted at the age of 36, 37, 3 years before his tragic death. But we are also here in this wonderful cathedral designed by a Maltese architect, Jerome, which is one of the most visited sites here in Valletta. This building and this edifice probably also reflects what Valletta, what Malta is really all about. Because sometimes the austere and simple facade of a building can reap surprises. And from the austerity of the outside, you walk in to this richness, to this wealth of art and culture. And that is what Malta is really all about. It's an island which surprises. It's an island which defies expectation. It's an island which is throbbing with a cultural, creative sector. And we owe it to them to host this capital of culture in Valletta. It comes at a moment also where the artistic community has been very active in terms of policy and strategy. This year we launched the National Cultural Policy for our islands, and we've also launched for public consultation the draft strategy on the creative and cultural sector, so topical at the moment in Europe. We also are fully aware that, as you rightly pointed out, Madam Branch, to really be a successful European capital of culture, we have to look beyond 2018. It would be foolish, immature, and short-sighted of us if we had to concentrate simply on a program of activities for 2018. That is the easiest task. The success of this bid will depend on the legacy we leave behind us in 2018 and the extent to which we'll be enjoying that legacy in 2020, 2030, and beyond. So there's a lot of work which needs to be done from all sides. From the cultural infrastructure, we need to work a lot. And this is a unique moment, I think, for Maltese society, for the artistic and cultural community, to do the necessary investment which may have not done in the past. Our country is a young nation, a young independent state, which may have had different priorities as it grew from independence in 1964. I think the time has come now to give the priority to the culture and artistic sector. So we definitely need to move on a roadmap of investment in cultural infrastructure to be truly successful, to truly leave a legacy. But a legacy cannot be born simply on physical infrastructure and physical foundations. We need to equally invest heavily in the most important resource that we actually have in this country, the human resource, our cultural sector, our artistic community. Thankfully over here, the foundations are extremely solid. But we need to keep helping this community of creative people to move on. It's never viable to be an artist. It's probably the least viable choice you can make in your life. But we have to help them move on and have hope for the future. So hence why we are investing in various funds right now, even though they are never enough. But they are coming at a time when the rest of Europe is cutting down on the investment on culture. And when I meet around the table at the EU Council for Culture Ministers, I'm often the only culture minister who hasn't had his budget slashed down. But we do it because we believe in it. We do it because we believe that we are not subsidizing the arts, but in truth it's the arts which are subsidizing us. So, allow me to conclude by saying that this was a great bid. The themes are extremely interesting. It centers around 4 bids and themes. Generations. Valletta is not only a celebration of the past, it's a celebration of the future. Roots. The roads of the past, but the challenges of the future. That is what we really want to look ahead. Cities. Valletta was the first planned city in Malta, possibly the last one. We need to conserve our past whilst giving it a contemporary future. Islands. We are people of the sea. We are people of the Mediterranean. And we need to remain like that. We have European identity, but a Mediterranean culture and the Mediterranean DNA, which is what enriches us so much. So allow me to say thank you. A thank you with pride, a thank you with hope, and a thank you which looks forward to the future. Thanks so much.